All right, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to All for United. Joe's J-Ling's in it again. Welcome to the 3-point preview where, I don't remember Ben's catchphrase, but it goes something like, what's the point in looking forward to a game if you're not looking forward to 3 points? Did I emphasize the P there enough, Ben? I hope so.
Yeah.
Today, we are looking forward to one of Neil's most favourite teams. We're playing his beloved Leeds. So there's only one place to start. We're going to talk about the rivalry. If you don't know already, if you've been living under a rock, United are playing Leeds this weekend, and well, who better to tell you? Who better to tell you about the rivalry? Who better to tell you about the rivalry than Neil himself? So Neil, tell me why you love beating Leeds.
I hate them. I hate them more than Liverpool, more than City. I just hate them more than Arsenal, and I don't like Arsenal. Can't stand them, but bloody Leeds, hate them, bastards. Even from the 60s, from Reeve buggering off to go and, and all that stuff. Billy Brenmer, David Batty, give me a break. Duncan McKenzie, because he could jump over a mini. So chuffing what? Could make him a better bloody footballer. All cobblers. Harry Kewell and his stupid tattoo on his left hand. I mean, give me a break. I just can't stand them. And it's the worst. This is the worst game for me. I hate the build-up to this game. I was speaking to Wally earlier, and he said, I reckon it could be 4-3. If it's 4-3 on Sunday, I'll be dead with a stroke. There's no way I can cope with that.
I could listen to Neil just tell me about how he hates Leeds all day, but then we'd never get off this preview. Joe, tell me about your experience with the Leeds rivalry, because for me, I've not actually had a good experience with it because I've never seen it in its prime because I'm so young, you see. I'm the youngest person on this channel. And the only experience I have is when we played them in the FA Cup in 09-10 and we lost 1-0. And I think we played them in the League Cup a couple of years after that. But tell me about your experiences with United Leeds.
Yeah, look, everyone in Ireland is like Leeds fan, basically. It's like everyone's second club. Probably, United Liverpool would be like number one kind of joint, and everyone below that is a Leeds fan. So like everyone, loads of people in my family are Leeds fans, loads of my mates are Leeds fans, and I hate every single one of them. Actually, the last live game I was at, I went over to Ellen Road to bring my uncle. He'd never been over before, and he's a big Leeds fan, so we brought him over. It was actually the last weekend of fans being out of fixtures. And I was terrified because everyone was going on about how much they hate Man United and they think we're scum and shit like that. And like I was just sitting there going, just trying not to speak, just trying. I was hoping my accent wouldn't give away that I was a United fan somehow. But yeah, no, look, I think it's good to have them back because it is a great rivalry. It's one that, like you said, Carter, you wouldn't know as much because I was amazing for the last couple of years because they were shit, but then they were just gone. So like it's starting to be perked up again, and all these Leeds fans that are underneath rocks are coming out to sprinkle themselves, and you'll love to see it. And I'm looking forward to the game. I think we will do them because they can't defend for their lives.
Yeah, this one is good. Like you said, I've not experienced a lot of it, and that's one thing that I do get a bit disappointed with. But then again, I've spent the last 5 years of my life saying Leeds are not going to come up to the Premier League, and then they ended up doing it. So at least now I get to experience that rivalry. But Neil, how disappointed are you that we can't be in a stadium to watch this, and how much of a difference do you think it makes to the rivalry?
The atmosphere would be absolutely unbelievable atmosphere. Both, I mean, I've been to Ellen Road and watched United at Ellen Road, and I've seen Leeds at Old Trafford, but the atmosphere is just, if you've never experienced it, this is a game you want to get a ticket for. Because there's proper hatred. I mean, I've done Celtic Rangers a few times, and this and that's brutal. That's in a different world. But this game in particular, this is real nasty. I mean, it's nasty at Anfield when you're a United fan. Well, it's because it's full of Scousers, but proper nasty at Leeds, and that's because it's full of Yorkshiremen as well. The only Yorkshireman I like is Mason Greenwood.
Love that. I've been told not to go to Ellen Road because there's quite a bit of I don't know. I don't want to fuel any rumours, but I'm sure there's been a few racist events that happen there.
There's not a few. There's chuffing loads of them.
Well, there you go. So I've been warned never to go to Ellen Road because I will get bricked.
I'll say it's a disgrace.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Joe, what are you expecting from this weekend, especially without fans? Is it going to be tough to get them, fired up, or should they be, as Manchester United players, ready to go into these?
Well, they should be ready to go against any game. And look, let's be honest, this game is bigger for the Leeds fan than it is for us. Like, the fact that Carter, like you were saying, like this game, you were like, Leeds never really meant anything to you. Like, we mean everything to them. We're their biggest rivalry, and we always will be. And it meant something to us, probably the tail end of the 90s, early 2000s, where Leeds were actually a club. But where they are now, it means far more for the Leeds players than it does for United players. But in saying that, that's why I would be a little bit concerned. One, we're playing at home, which has been kind of shit for us lately. But also the Leeds players will be fired up for this, I think, a little bit more than our players will be. So I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah, it definitely does mean more to them. I mean, as I said, I'm too young to know the rivalry at its fullest, but I can gauge from the way that Leeds fans act. This is far more meaningful to you than it is to us. Let's face it, the hatred is mutual, but it means a lot more to you Leeds fans than it does to us, because let's face it, you're irrelevant. You might be back in the Premier League now and everyone might be piping you off saying, oh, Leeds are back, fantastic to have them back. You're still irrelevant, mate. You're only relevant because of Marcelo Bielsa. If he wasn't your manager, number one, you wouldn't be here. Number two, no one give a fuck who you are. So let's get that in your head straight away. Point two then. A lot of us made of United's performance against Sheffield. Obviously, we got the 3 points. We played really well in that game. I thought for periods of it. But one important part of that game was the inclusion of Dean Henderson. Now, I want to ask you both. I'll go to Neil first. Do you think Dean Henderson did enough to say, yeah, I should be competing with David De Gea and maybe in contention for this game, and is Ollie trying to bring him in slowly? Or do you think there's something more to it and De Gea should be coming back into this? What's your opinion on it?
I think Henderson's done enough. I don't understand play one, then change it the next game, then change it. You're going to piss off the back four. You can see the confusion with the first goal. If Henderson's playing every week, they started getting understanding together. They'll know what the other one's doing. If Henderson's your goalkeeper, then you play him. If he decides that it's De Gea, then he plays him. Stop chopping and changing the goalkeepers. No team's ever found this a successful way. And I personally, I said right at the start of the season that I think Henderson should be the number one. I think he's, whatever we could get for De Gea and get those wages off the bill. And I'd go with Henderson. I mean, he made a decent save at the end. A save he should make. But the mess up, I sort of, in a way, the management have to take a bit of blame for that, because we're playing out for the back stuff does my Sweden. But he's got to get an understanding with the back four. So if he's the one playing.
Okay, fair enough. Joe, what do you think then? What's your opinion on the goalkeeper situation?
Yeah, I have a slightly different stance than Neil. I think it's fine to kind of chop and change. I don't even think they're chopping and changing, because Henderson's getting probably one game every 5 or 6. Like the cups, I think will be his. Like the League Cup is his competition, but I'm sure the FA Cup will be as well. And I guess the league game, I'm still kind of unsure of why Henderson was put in when De Gea was on the bench, because usually De Gea would be injured or have the game off or whatever. So I was a bit confused as to why De Gea was on the bench. I still feel that De Gea is the number one. Part of me is like, we know Henderson's the future and we should be putting him straight away, but I think De Gea still has something to offer, and he's had another mixed season, but he's been great and he's been a bit poor. But I think a level-headed, especially after the mistakes, no matter how good of a game Henderson ended it on, kind of, by making 1 or 2 good saves, he still made an absolute howler, which he'll learn from De Gea. Had the same thing. But I think De Gea is still more sturdy as our number one, and especially after that mistake, he should be starting against Leeds. But the long term, we know it's going to be Henderson. It just, will he take over by the end of this season or by the start of next season? We'll have to wait and find out. I'm still happy there's competition finally for the goalkeeper's position. Hasn't been competition since Lindegaard and De Gea when De Gea was first signed, so it might be a similar situation like that. But I'm fine with De Gea being put in and Henderson having a couple competitions and the odd game here and there, because he has to. He has to build up familiarity with that defence, and the best game to do on that was against Sheffield United, because we were pretty much going to win no matter who was in goals. Although he did make it that bit more difficult. But I feel, De Gea will be back in goals and Henderson can pick up minutes whenever he can.
Yeah, I personally think we shouldn't rotate the keepers too much, but I feel like we have to start blooding Dean Henderson in, because he is, as you said, he is going to be our number one. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He's got the quality.
Yeah.
He's made England caps now. He has to be our future number one. It's just about bringing him in carefully. And I think there's still a bit of rawness to him. And I feel like we need to sort of give him more time as a Manchester United goalkeeper, because as we spoke about before the season, being a Sheffield United goalkeeper and a Manchester United goalkeeper are two totally different things. You're not going to get as much action as a United keeper, but when you do get called into action, you have to get it spot on, and you can't make mistakes like you did against Sheffield. However, I think it will be with De Gea today. But as I said throughout the season, I think the season will end with Dean Henderson having played more minutes or more games than De Gea has this season. And I think that's our slow transition for him to be number one. That's just what I think. Comments, let us know. Get involved. Tell us what you think of the goalkeeper situation. Do you think it should be Henderson? Do you think it should be De Gea? Let us know. And make sure to leave a like, because that is very important. We are always trying to reach this target of 20 likes. So make sure you get involved. Let's get to that target nice and quick. On to the third point then. A lot has been made of Leeds' style of play, and that's mostly down to a manager that I can really respect, and that's Marcelo Bielsa. Fantastic manager. He's been there, he's done that, and he's really implemented a lot of what he thinks football should be played onto this Leeds team and transformed them, really. Their style of play it kind of resembles that of Leipzig in that it's very high energy. It's focused on pressing, winning the ball up high, and trying to... Yeah.
Your mic's gone a bit mad.
Oh, I'll sort that just a sec. Yeah, mic all good now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So their style of play is focused on high energy pressing, winning the ball back high up the pitch, and transitioning really quickly. So we can almost compare it a little bit to Leipzig, in my opinion. Neil, what do you think is the best way to go against Leeds? How much have you seen of them this season, and what do you think is the best way to set up against them?
We've got to play out. I like the three up front that we played last night, because it's pace, and pace scares any defence. I'm not sure how great Leeds are with pace thrown at them. I think this will be a big test for their style of football. Because I hate them so much, it's hard to comment on this because I'm liable to say something that's going to bite me in the arse. We just got to go for it. If we go one down, I do worry, especially the way Bielsa, because he's a brilliant tactician, he's a brilliant manager, and you just think he might have something, because he could tactically outdo Ole quite comfortably on Sunday if he wants to. We need to get hold of Leeds quick and literally stamp all over them would be good. But I think we need to play just the high energy same game that they've got, and just push them back and use the pace that we've got in our side. Bruno will be massive on Sunday for us, and he's massive every week. But I think Sunday will be huge, and Pogba. I mean, Pogba showed some proper steps forward last night.
Yeah, fair. As Neil says, I think the first goal is going to be really important. And as he sort of touched on there, Joe, how much do you think we need to be focusing on the details? Because we all know what Bielsa's like in preparation for games. He'll probably have watched every goal we've conceded, how we've conceded it, and know exactly where to, exploit our weaknesses. So how careful do you think we need to be today? Well, not today, when we play them.
Yeah, and also on the Pogba thing, do you know that he didn't get he wasn't, I don't know what the word is, attributed with the assist against Sheffield United the other night?
That's
it makes no sense. I don't understand what the rules are for that, because I was looking at it, because everyone, like Lindelof got his one and Martial got for Rashford's one, but for whatever reason, Pogba wasn't assisted, because that pass,
he was just dropping the ball in.
But he still, scored from that. But it made no sense.
I know, but he wasn't picking him out, was he? He wasn't trying to pick that one out. He was just dropping the ball in. It was a great ball over the top. It was just a ball into the danger area.
But
like I used to do in my heyday.
Well, we don't have that on camera.
Anyway, on to Leeds then. What Bielsa's preparation?
Yeah. Look, Bielsa is a wonderful coach. We just have to look at it and go, we have better players. Like you said, the comparison with Leipzig is we have to look at how we beat Leipzig, because you can say the same thing about Nagelsmann. Obviously different sort of coaches, but tactically more astute, we'll say, than Ole. But how do we beat 1-5-0 and then we managed to lose 3-2 the second time? Because Leeds are constantly conceding goals. Like, I don't think they kept the clean sheet. I think they've very even just conceded one. So there is weaknesses there. So we have to just match their pressing with our pressing and not give them an inch and not show them any respect. And just be, that's what I'm hoping we'll be fired up, because we're fired up for the Leipzig game, because that is a better game with a better team. But against Leeds, I hope we show them no respect whatsoever. I hope within 2 seconds we were all over them. I'm sure there'll be plenty of yellow cards if that's the way we're going to play. But we have to not sit back. We are the home team, and we are the better team. We have a better squad, a better starting 11. There's no reason why we should let Leeds have any of the ball. We shouldn't be trying to get them on the counter attack. We should just be pressing them high up the pitch as well and not give them inches. And if we do that, we should be able to beat them. You know, they will. And the thing is, they will score. I do fully believe they will score. But we have to make sure we are 3 up by the time they score.
Yeah, as you said, I think Bielsa is a fantastic manager. He's a manager that I really look up to in terms of my own coaching. I think the way he does things is fantastic, and I love how much detail he puts into his preparation before games. I mean, we all saw that famous press conference where he brought up, all the details he has on every team in the championship, and that's just the championship. So imagine the level of preparation he's putting into a Premier League game. Who knows how many spies he'd send down to Carrington? Who knows?
But again, like with Leeds, like they started off with a bang. They've sort of teetered off. Now I know they had a good win against Newcastle the other day, but again, they conceded 2 against Newcastle. So I'm like, I think Bielsa is a better coach than their squad is, no matter what, and he won't really adapt his game for anyone, which I highly respect. But in saying that, that's why we know how they're going to play, and we should just beat them at their own game, because they are losing games. I don't even think they really drew a game, but they're always conceding, they're always scoring too. So we have to get out of the front foot. Don't wait a fucking half before we start playing football. We just need to start immediately, get the first goal, and just go from there. If they score first, that's when the worry is.
Yeah, that's a big point. I think if we do not start quickly and we have our typical start slowly and come back into it second half, I think we'll be too far behind to actually come back, and that's where it might bite us. And I think with regards to Bielsa's tactical preparation, it's where I think we might see what Ollie's really about, because if we do not switch on, it's both Ollie and the players, because Ollie, in terms of his tactical setup, it has to be spot on. Otherwise, we'll have holes and they'll just take advantage. With regards to players, if we have little individual moments where we switch off, Bielsa's team are going to take control of that and just walk all over you. So we cannot afford that. So it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a really big game. In terms of another key point that I wanted to make, it's not part of the original 3 points, but I did want to speak about it. The midfield. Last time out, we started Matic, Pogba, and Bruno, and we had McTominay and Fred on the bench. Now, those are the 2 we usually go to in big games like this. Neil, do you think we go back to them, or is there a different midfield combination that you'd like to see?
I think he'll. What's the status with Fred? Do we know? Is he still struggling with his hip?
I don't know. What's happening there?
Is it all good now? What's happened there? Did I lag out?
You must have one of us. No, he just. Did you answer Neil's question?
Yeah,
I didn't hear what he said. Sorry, go on, Neil.
What's the status with Fred?
I believe he's fit and ready to play. I mean, he was on the bench yesterday.
If he's fit and ready to play, I'd play him and then Pogba and Fernandes and then the front 3.
Interesting. So no McTominay in Neil's midfield. Joe, do you agree with that?
Unless Fred's not fit, I'd play McTominay. If Fred's unavailable, I'd play McTominay, because I think he's got better legs than Matic after Matic had a game last night.
Joe, what do you reckon? I mean, as I said, McTominay, Fred seems to be the go-to in big games for Ollie.
Yeah, but also I think Pogba wasn't firing all cylinders throughout the start of the season. The fact that he's scoring and assisting, even though he's not getting attributed assists, I feel that it'll be. I agree with Neil. I don't think it'll be Fred. I think it'll be either Matic or McTominay, someone a bit sturdier to sit in front of the back 2. So either one of them. I kind of feel, since it's a bigger game, that he'll go with Matic, but in the same way, I'm going to say McTominay. I'd say McTominay is going to start with Pogba and Bruno, but we'll put him in the comments afterwards anyway. or 11.
Yeah.
But I feel
Neil, you're about to say something then.
I've just got this feeling that Tomini's going to kick that bucket straight from under Bielsa's arse. I think it'd be hilarious.
I hope someone does do that. I hope we provide him no space to sit on his butt.
I just see McTominay doing in that when we get like 3-1 up with a couple of minutes to go. Just walks over and kicks the bucket from underneath him.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great way to just get in their heads. I reckon if the ball goes out for a throw in, just pretend to trip over it and kick it like a yard away.
Mourinho would do it.
Mourinho would do it. Oh, I'm surprised. Have Spurs played Leeds yet?
I'm going to check actually.
I don't think they have, so that would be something to watch out for. I reckon he does something with that. Right, so before we wrap up the preview, let's just go with what you expect from the game and maybe give us your favourite Leeds memory. Joe, we'll go with you first.
My favourite, I think it's going to be, I don't think a tight game. I think there'll be a good few goals. I think it'll be 3-2 along those lines. Hopefully 3-1. I do think they will score. Hopefully it'll just be the once. My favourite Leeds memory is when they got relegated. That was wonderful. And anything after, and then the following 16 years when we were winning league titles, they were getting relegated again. That was quite lovely. That was quite lovely.
Oh, brilliant! Neil, go on then. What do you expect from the game? And give us a favourite Leeds memory. Probably that's going to be them getting relegated, but we'll ask you anyway.
You might be surprised. I don't think you will be actually. I think we'll win 4-0.
Ooh!
Because I think we are. If we're going to push on now, we need to start getting our goal difference up. Because I was looking at that the other day. We're way off. That could hurt us towards the end of the season. Yeah. So these are the sort of games. Once we get on top, just keep we absolutely batter these lot. My favourite memory is Cantona stood in front of their fans, giving it the big one when he scored at Ellen Road. Unbelievable. Love that. That's an amazing picture. Go on that YouTube channel and all that lark, and just get your Google machines out and have a look at that, because it was brilliant when he scored and then he just stood in front of their fans and the hatred their fans had for him. And he's the best player they've ever had in their history, for God's sake.
Well, second to Alan Smith, of course. Let's not forget Alan Smith. Love Alan Smith. So, John, did you give us a score prediction? And first goal scorer, as Ben just loves to do.
Yes, I'm going to go for... I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say first goal. I'm going to say Marcel.
Neil, who did you go for? You went 4-0, but who do you think is going to score first?
OG.
That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Just an own goal. Let's just kick it off with an own goal. Right, so, that's our preview. I'm going to go with... what do you reckon? I can't back Leeds, can I? I can't back him to get points.
No. If you do that, I'll find out where you live and bring you in your bed.
We'll go 2-1 United, and first goal scorer we'll go McTominay. Do you know what? I fancy it. A long range McTominay strike. That's what I think.
I think my OG's got more of a chance.
Probably. So closing thoughts from me. I just hope that United go out there and know what this rivalry is about. For people like Neil, for people like Joe, who have been part of this rivalry, and try and show people like me what to expect in these games, because it's been too long since we've had this game. It's been too long since we've had a game where it matters, because we don't care about the odd cup tie where it's, our second string team and it's Jermaine Beckford putting it in and then making a DVD about it. We don't give a fuck about them. This is what we care about, the Premier League. This is where you've lot have worked so hard to get to while we've been winning titles. So come and show us what you're about, and show us the evidence that it's just because Bielsa's here, because you're nothing without Marcelo Bielsa. You're a championship club with Marcelo Bielsa. That's what you are right now, Leeds United. And you can get in my Twitter mentions, just like I did with the West Ham fans about their fucking bubbles. And you can come and have a go at me for making fun of your bucket, because it's fucking stupid. What are you doing sitting on a bucket on the sidelines? You've got chairs for a reason, Marcelo. Yeah, lazy bastard. Yeah. Anyway, that's been the 3-point preview. Thank you for joining us.
Before you go, guys, just don't forget, we're putting our starting 11 in the comments in the YouTube, so make sure to like your favorite one and put your expected lineup in as well.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Make sure to like the video, help us reach that 20 like mark. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to follow us on all the socials at All for United, and make sure to join us next time. And lads, don't forget, if we win, the title charge is still on. See you later.